Before we get into it, I just want to let you guys know that if you like to see the rest of the process of this doll, such as the sculpting and the painting, feel free to check out my last video. Anyway, this is going to be more of a chit-chatty video. I thought I would tell you guys a little bit more about the inspiration behind this doll while I do the needle felting, since it takes a while and we're both just going to be sitting here for some time. So, as you guys know, I've been working on trying to create my own collection of dolls. This cat doll will actually be the third doll in my collection. I feel like every time that I finish one of these dolls, I realize that subconsciously I was processing something. And whatever it was, it ended up coming out in the outcome of the doll. And this topic is something that my boyfriend and I have talked about quite a bit, and that would be growing up mixed. I feel like the cliche idea that comes into people's head when they think of mixed kids is kind of like black and white, when obviously there is quite a bit more variety than that, but I think that's just the general thought. I think it's a really beautiful thing when two people from completely different cultures can come together and create a family together. It can also make things really complicated, especially if both people are not prepared to embrace each other's cultures. In my case, I'm Puerto Rican, Samoan, and Mexican, but I was raised by the Samoan side of my family because my mom died when I was really young. And I really didn't find out about the Hispanic side until I got a little bit older. Like, I thought I was barely Mexican, but whenever I would fill out forms when I was a kid, my dad would mark that I was only Islander. So I thought I was mainly Islander and like maybe a quarter Hispanic, which now looking back seems crazy. Like, you can tell from looking at me, I'm more I am more Hispanic in me. Anyway, when I was a kid, I got picked on a lot. And I had a hard time trying to figure out why that was, because especially when I was younger, I was very, very quiet. Like, I barely ever spoke. I got a lot of comments on the fact that I never talk. And the things that I feel like they would hone in on a lot was usually my nose, my skin, and my hair. And my hair was probably the biggest one. So when I was growing up, I had crazy long hair. Like, it went way past my ass. If you knew me at that time, you probably know about it because I was literally known as the girl with the long hair. My dad didn't let me cut my hair for really my entire life, and I didn't get to cut it off until somewhere near the end of high school. I wasn't allowed to cut it until I got married, or that's what he told me. He said it was a culture thing. Now looking back, I don't really know if it was a culture thing, but that's that's just what it was. So when I went into elementary school, my hair was just crazy long, like really through the majority of my school years up until maybe the end of high school. And one thing that people love to do is pull my frickin' hair. And the funny thing is, that wasn't really boys as much as it was mainly girls. Girls would pull my hair like crazy, and hard too. People would pull my hair from behind me, so if I was sitting like staring at the teacher, they would like yank my head back and then everyone would act like nothing happened. But that happened all the time. Sometimes girls, especially like mean girls, would ask to like comb my hair or do my hair or braid my hair or whatever, and then put stuff in my hair and laugh at me. Or they would tangle it on purpose, like kind of braid it into a mat. Okay, editing me really quick because I realized I didn't word that so well. What I meant was they would tie my hair into like multiple knots really close to my scalp and then put random stuff inside of my hair, like inside of that knot. So there'd be pencils, pieces of paper, and they would just jab it in there and then leave me like that. And then I had to kind of go through and detangle it. And if you're wondering why I didn't do anything about it, like I said, I was a really, really quiet kid. I remember it happened so many times that my dad actually filed a report like once or twice with the school, but I refused to rat out any of the kids because I didn't want things to escalate. I realized a few times that I did come home with any information about what was happening, it just ended up blowing up out of proportions, so it was just easier to stay quiet. I've gotten all kind of comments, I feel like, about my hair. There was just a crazy amount of name calling. People would call my hair like a rat's nest, for example. I got a lot of comments about people thinking that I was really dirty. They almost treat you like you're some like girl who lives in the jungle, like a wild girl. And I think now thinking back to it, I realized how racist that was. And I think that hurt a lot more because I did grow up without my mom, and anything beauty, anything having to do with my hair, having to take care of myself, I had to teach myself. And having all that hair then led to my skin breaking out. I have really, really oily skin. A lot of islanders have really oily skin, which then gave me acne. It fucked up my skin. I feel like a lot of the time, any of my physical characteristics that were more leaning Hispanic got a lot more praise. Those are the things that people would tell me that they thought that I was pretty for. But all the elements of me that was more on the islander side were considered ugly. Those are the things that made me seem dirty, or just like I said, it seems more like Jungle Girl now that I process it more. Kind of almost like, oh well, if you looked cleaner, then you would be pretty. And this led to me starting to flat iron my hair as soon as I was old enough to figure out how to use that flat iron. I would wake up really, really early in the morning and I wouldn't let anyone see me without my hair pressed. And honestly, that's usually what led to me being late for school, which is kind of funny. And like I said, my hair was crazy long, so when I had to flat iron it, it took like maybe an hour and a half, if not longer, on top of having to get ready for school, so it was just a lot for a kid. One story that really comes to mind is one time these girls asked if they could like braid my hair, and I obviously didn't know what they were doing. It was kind of the same group of girls most of the time, and one specific girl who was more of their leader, I guess, put a pad in my hair. Like, we were cutting through magazines for some kind of assignment, and she cut out a pad from the magazine and then put it in my hair and then didn't tell me. And I feel like stuff like that would happen and I would just try to let it go because I was really quiet and I didn't have a lot of friends, and really there was not going to be anyone to back me up if I said anything about it. And I think the really sad thing about all that is that I do think that made me become really withdrawn. I didn't really want to talk to anybody. I didn't want anyone close to me because I didn't want anyone doing anything like that. And on top of that, people would just think that I was mean. Like, for no reason. Even if I didn't do anything, like, they would just assume that you're mean. I feel like I've heard similar things in, like, black culture with black women where they'll be like, people just associate sometimes black women with being aggressive. You didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. It's just your face. It's like the demeanor. Basically, if you're not speaking with your head down, if you actually speak up for yourself, then you're aggressive. And I think the shitty part about that is that people don't recognize in different cultures, you have to speak up for yourself, especially the more people that are in your family. We come from bigger families. You don't speak up, you don't get what you need. You learn to speak up, or you learn to say things with your chest, or you don't get your needs met. So even personally, I would go from being really quiet and not talking at all to suddenly speaking very confidently. And that would just freak people out. I mean, I think it still does, but it took me a long time to get used to the fact that I could go out with my natural hair and not feel like unput together. I didn't start wearing my natural hair out until I got a lot older. I spent my whole life really wanting to cut my hair off, like to get rid of all of it, and I think a lot of that stemmed from the bullying. I didn't want to deal with people messing with me anymore, yanking on my hair, pulling my hair. It just felt like a target on my back. And it was easier to just get rid of it. And also it seemed like everybody else has short hair, maybe I should just have short hair. Like, I really just wanted to be left alone. It brought in a lot of attention that I didn't want. And the funnier part about that is that once I cut it, I got a bunch of comments suddenly from people that were like, oh, how could you? Why would you do that? It was so beautiful before. Now that I'm older, I've definitely come to terms with just staying as natural as possible. I feel like the more natural movement that's been going on the last couple years has really helped me gain acceptance for myself, especially with social media and everything else. I feel like we definitely have a more Eurocentric idea of beauty. It's straight hair, it's small nose, it's bright eyes. And kids don't really understand kind of what they're saying when they call another kid ugly or they make certain remarks on their appearance. But I think once I got older, I realized that it's like, oh, I'm not ugly, I'm mixed. My hair is big and thick and frizzy naturally. That's just how it is. That is Samoan hair. And even on my Puerto Rican side or my Mexican side, it's the same thing. It is just thick, big hair. There's native ancestry in there, there's some black ancestry in there, so yes, our hair is big and thick and frizzy. That's just how it is. It's not unkept in the same way an afro is not unkept. That is how our women or our men look. Anyway, to trail this all back to the dolls. As I'm designing these dolls and I had to design a face, I realized while I was doing the nose and the space between the eyes and the hair that I didn't want to stray away from those features. My dolls are gonna have big hair. I have big hair. There are a lot of people that have big hair, frizzy hair, and there are a lot of people who have bigger noses or wider noses. I really want to encourage that kind of diversity in my work, even if I throw in some fantasy elements or anything like that. Especially in that kind of work, there really isn't a ton of diversity. Fairies always look a very certain type of way. Their noses are small, all the features are small, the hair is usually straight, and as much as I can, I want to push the narrative of diversity is beautiful. Especially because I do feel like more people are starting families with people from different cultures or different ethnicities. There are more mixed kids, I feel like, now than ever. And even if my dolls are a little cute and silly and I add some fantasy elements here and there, even then, I still want to do my part in spreading awareness that there is so much beauty in diversity. We are not all the same, we do not need to all look the same, and to people coming together from different cultures or different backgrounds to bring a baby into the world, create something new and beautiful. All that to say is, I realize that when I look at these dolls, I always see a piece of myself. The part of me that was too wild, that just didn't fit in. And I don't want it to take other kids like me with similar backgrounds so long to feel the same way about themselves. Anyway guys, that's gonna be it for this doll. Please let me know what you guys think of her. I took a lot of inspiration from a lot of places such as brown British short hairs, like the chocolate colored cats, which is why I decided to go for more warm tones, and I use Atlantis as a reference for some of the markings on her face. And Neapolitan ice cream is what inspired her hair, how she has some chocolate and vanilla going on in there. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little chit-chatty video. If you have any other topics you'd like me to go over, feel free to leave them in the comments. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.